This is For the Creators.
Welcome back to For the Creators, where it's our job to demystify creativity. We're kicking off Black History Month with Christina and Grace Adesina, who are the founders of Shades of Beauty Live, a UK beauty event showcasing a range of brands, live discussions and entertainment for women of colour. We explore what goes into creating a new beauty event, working with sponsors, attracting panellists and exhibitors, and the challenges of raising the standard in the beauty industry. I'm sure you'll get a lot from this episode, as it's not easy to start something new, especially when it involves bringing together so many different people. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think. Find us on Instagram at For The Creators Podcast or Twitter _The Creators. Without further ado, enjoy our sit down with the founders of Shades of Beauty Live, Christina and Grace Adesina.
I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is For the Creators.
Today we are here with the lovely founders of the Shades of Beauty. How are you guys?
We're
We're
good.
good.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us here.
Can you just introduce yourself to our audience? So we have...
I'm Grace Adesina.
And I'm Christina Adesina. But my husband would say Anya Muka.
Oh, nice. I like that. Just a little bit of background on you. So who's the oldest?
I'm the oldest. Grace, yes. Yes, I'm older by 4 years from Christina.
Yeah.
And what was it like growing up as siblings?
Well, Christina used to get away with everything.
But I was annoying. I was
The
the
annoying
younger.
little sister. That was she basically had free reign
Yeah.
over us. So,
Is it just the two of you, or do you have...
no, we have a brother that's in between us. So it's myself, then my brother Gabriel, and then Christina's the youngest.
Yeah. There's 2 years in between all of us. Yeah. But
Oh, nice. Well planned out.
but yeah, being Grace was always a great older sister. Like I never used to argue. I used to argue with the boy, the middle one. Me and him
Oh,
used
really?
we used to like tussle and fight and everything. But Grace was from my point of view, she was just like the older, well respected, reserved, wise sister. You know, like the second mum for me.
Nice.
Yeah, but I was the annoying sister that she would run away from. Yeah.
Annoying
Yeah,
in what
annoying.
way?
Well, the one that always tells mum.
Oh.
Always tells.
get away with
Tell.
Tell mum everything.
So basically, she was the one that every time you're trying to go out with your friends, you have to take Grace. And it's, oh, God.
Yeah.
And then
That's
Grace
the
will
one.
come back and tell her, oh yeah, she was talking to boys.
Yeah. I think I was a bit like a bit of a bodyguard as well. I was a bit weird, little sister, because every time when the guys looked at me, I'd be like, why are you looking at my sister?
She's one that comes out and embarrass me.
Yeah. I was like, he's an uncle. Why is he looking at you
Yeah.
for?
Oh,
I used to
She's
be like,
only
okay.
13.
Yeah, I think I definitely was. But I think that all kind of changed when I went to uni. Probably, yeah. Our relationship definitely did change at that
What,
point.
because you left home?
Yeah.
What, in it?
Grew
the
up.
only one left.
I was literally the only one left for like a good 3 years with these two parents, because obviously my brother went to
Right.
university as
You're born like...
Yeah.
yeah,
after each
so
other,
yeah.
yeah.
I
What was that like?
I had a good group of girlfriends, you know, from school and stuff, and they were basically like my sisters, but it was still lonely, like not having the other two in the house with me. Yeah.
You don't know what you got till it's gone, eh?
No one to annoy anymore.
It's not all good,
No,
exactly.
yeah,
It's not
no
all
one to
good
tell
down
her.
here. It's
Yeah.
not all good being the youngest. But yeah, so I think when I went to uni, and then I was at uni and for a couple of years, I think that's when we started to
Reconnect. Really.
reconnect. And
Interesting.
yeah.
So when did your interest in beauty start? Was it from like a young age? Did you play around with makeup and things like that back then, or was it something that you
Definitely,
developed
I'll let
later on?
Grace answer that. Our first business venture was
business
definitely
venture. We were interested in like hair, I think, because I used to make hair bands from because mum used to do sewing, she used to do tailoring, and I used to take the elastic bands and the material and make hair bands out of it and sell it in the schoolyard until I got in trouble from the
entrepreneurial.
teachers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so we were always interested in entrepreneurial, and mum always had a business, so we were always interested in what she was doing. And
What was your mum's business?
Mom was she used to buy material like for import export. So
Okay.
and jewelry as well.
Was it
So
like
gold.
traditional?
It was
cloth?
traditional cloth, so
Yeah, yeah.
Ankara, Swiss lace,
And embarrassing
embroidery.
little girl dresses.
What's your family background? Is it Nigerian?
Yeah,
Okay.
Nigerian, yeah.
And jewelry as well. She loves jewelry.
There's jewelry. And I think our second round of beauty came into it when Grace had this idea of doing what was not really popular at the time. I think it was maybe over like 12 years ago, you had the idea of doing mineral powders, but in shades for darker women.
What's a mineral powder?
So we have something called liquid foundation.
Oh, okay. Newbie here.
Let's educate you. I don't know if you heard of Fenty Beauty.
I have, yeah.
So she's got a whole range of different foundations for the darker skin tones.
Right.
And what Grace had was something called, same thing, but it was just in a powder format.
Right,
And it
okay.
was a lot more, less harsh on the skin.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because it's quite popular in America at that time, but they didn't have it in the UK as much. It wasn't. Yeah, we just didn't have
And
the
it
right
wasn't
shine.
geared towards
It wasn't
black
geared to
women,
black
black
women.
women.
So I had the idea then. It was
Did
just
you make it yourself, or did you?
We went to the factory.
we went to the factory.
Oh, wow.
We did go to the factory.
Where
we
were the
did.
factories?
Sorry, basically, there was Grace connected with a guy that had a factory that made makeup for like Sleek makeup or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he had a slot gone because Sleek decided to take their production abroad.
Oh,
This
okay.
was a very long time ago, yeah. And he basically said to us that pay us this amount of money and we can get this done for you in the 10 different shades. So Grace did a lot of research at the time. I don't know why I remember more than you do. But yeah, I did a lot of research.
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting, she was like, I've got to meet this guy at the train station.
Yeah.
And literally, because
So random.
she's always the academic one. So I just literally, she just passed me the details. I read it and I was just like, okay, I'm up for it. So we went to this train station in Surrey and this Cajun guy comes up to us and says, get in this white mini, and drives us to this factory.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It was amazing. The factory was amazing.
Yeah.
It was really big and they just basically just showed us that everything comes from the same place. Like everything, all the formulations are the same.
They're just branded differently.
That's
Branded
it.
differently.
Wow.
Yeah.
So but we didn't go ahead.
We didn't go in ahead because we didn't raise the funds in time.
And
then
there's
we
going to be
found
minimum buy-in and all that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we found out that they closed down, didn't they?
Oh, that's
Like,
a shame.
What, the
Yeah.
factory closed down?
Yeah.
Ah, I wonder what that was due to.
Everybody was just moving abroad. It's cheaper
Yeah,
for that.
Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make it cheaper as well.
Yeah.
I think there's still a few, but yeah. I think there's several others I was looking into. But that
Yeah,
particular
because
one
like
was
we
there.
saw all the brands there. We're like, wow, this is a lot of brands that you cater to.
So ironically, that was probably the start of Shades of Beauty without you even
Yeah.
realizing.
Yeah.
That was the seed.
It
That
was the seed.
Yeah.
We did remember like once we
We was-
started off.
Yeah, especially when we started seeing the other shades come out like 5 years later, we're like,
Yeah,
oh, Grace
we
was
should've
kicking
done it,
ourselves,
yeah.
you know. But you know, everything has happens for a reason. But
So you could have been like Fenty Beauty from.
yeah,
like,
we had a name, we had a brand,
Yeah.
everything was put together, and then yeah, it just didn't happen for one
But
reason.
sometimes it's out of your control.
time and yeah, but
Yeah.
definitely
It wasn't the
time.
right
and-
time.
It wasn't the right
Right time, and then I guess that's when we got into. We used that money, and probably we went into property together, and then yeah, that's our first business venture.
Smart move.
Yeah.
And yeah, how old was I? I was 21.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And I was 20.
20,
I was 20,
yeah.
yeah. And Grace was, I mean, you were 24 at the time,
24.
and she just started her first job, and she
What
just
was your job?
I was a process engineer in an oil and gas contracting company.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was in there for about 9 years.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Yeah. So what I did was build and design, engineer gas plants. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's-
So when
Okay.
makes it
crazy.
sound so simple, doesn't she?
So yes, I
So
love
definitely
calculations.
academic.
Yes, I'm definitely the academic one. It's something I love doing, you know, and I love the calculations and the analytical side of things, and that's what I brought to the table every time we did do our business ventures.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's so important. That's why these conversations are so amazing as
Yeah.
well, because most people probably wouldn't even put you in the category,
Yeah,
you know, because they
Yes.
think, oh, you're focusing on beauty.
Yes.
Probably, no, this is just assumptions, but people might think you're vain. That's all you care about,
Yeah.
hair
Yeah.
and makeup and things like
Yeah.
that. But it's so much bigger. But then it
Yeah.
also explains why you were able to pull off such a big event.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I remember working in the industry. I used to get quite a lot of looks from because a lot of men that actually work in my industry and very few women. And a lot of men would be like, "Oh, are you really an engineer?" And I'm like,
Oh,
yes. I do
I'm not
what
here
I'm
by
doing.
accident.
Yes, it wasn't by accident. So, but yeah, it is quite.
I used to give talks at schools and
and
stuff.
give
Yeah,
talks in
schools and inspire
to
more
inspire
women.
the women
To
as
get
well
into
the
engineering.
engineering, yeah.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
really good to have that base.
So the property was your first kind of real business
That's right.
together. Is that where you
Yes.
knew how you kind of work together?
Yes.
I think it was yeah, we knew how to work together, but I think it was kind of well, I think because I was young, it was kind of forced upon me.
Yeah, I did kind of like, Chris, let's do this together. And Chris like, okay, I don't really understand it, but I trust
Oh,
you.
you trust me, yeah.
It's a
Let's
good
go
thing
ahead.
to be forced into, though.
Yeah, man.
I bet you're happy that you were
Thank
forced.
you now, yeah.
Trust me.
I wasn't forced by Grace. I was more forced by my mum and dad. And I deep down I knew it was the right thing to do. But as a 20-year-old, you just see all your friends going on holidays and buying nice stuff, and you're just like, oh, I wish I can just live beyond bread and water right now. But I knew the long-term investment was a very good idea. So yeah, I did jump on it, and house hunting was fun. Did argue about room space and stuff, but Grace was on a bigger paycheck than me at the time, so obviously she got what she wanted. But yeah, I think there was an understanding there from day one that this is the role that you play in terms of this business relationship, and this is the role that Grace plays in this relationship. And
Can you describe what those roles
what are those
were? How
roles?
did you define that?
Well, me being very young, I guess you were the information grabber,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And then she would come back and relay it in layman's terms for me, because obviously my academic brain is not as smart as Grace. And I think that's what's missing in our community as well. Is like there's that knowledge gap as well, because like what Grace was explaining to me at the time, and I tried to re-explain it to some of my friends, and they understood as well, but they just didn't have someone, that extra support to push them through it. But I did. Luckily, I did. But I think a lot of things are not explained to us in terms of finance and properties and money at a young age.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to have a sister and a mum actually that was very, because my mum, Grace got a lot of information from my mum, because my mum was into property as well. That were able to grab that information and turn it into something that a 20-year-old can sit down and understand and listen
Yeah,
to.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a lot of research. I was a voracious reader. I loved reading property books, and I loved reading anything in business and analytical. So, I got that knowledge from the books and also from mum. And it's how it works. And Christina is kind of like, over the years, a negotiator and seller.
Yeah,
And,
I tried.
She's become.
Yeah.
You're the Dell boy.
She's
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I can. Grace will say probably agree as well. I do wing it, because she'll be like, because she's like, what do you think? And I'll be like, I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. That kind of like, because when we're
you're
at
the
the
risk-
property,
you're the
yeah,
risk
I'm
taker.
I guess
Right.
I analyze and I think probably what we always say is that Grace is academic smart. I'm probably more street smart.
Right.
So I would say, let's get out of this situation
Right,
now.
right,
like
right.
this guy.
It's about to pop off.
Yes, exactly. I'm that person in this relationship, and I think I've always been kind of like the person that judges a situation or just judges people and be like whether or not it's a good business move or not. And by meeting them, like Grace would do the book stuff, and I'll do the face-to-face stuff and say like, let's run away right
Right.
now.
So how did you move into starting the business called Fair Hair
For hair care, there was loads of businesses in between. I had an idea actually a couple of years ago, which Grace used to laugh at, was that I would take human hair extensions, which we buy from whatever, and because I see always when I go to a friend's house, I always see bags of hair, like bags and plastic bags of hair stuffed behind cup. Yeah, I know this is very hard for you to hear, but
I've got four sisters.
yeah, you got, there you go. There you go. So they used to have like bags of extensions, stuff everywhere, things that they think they're gonna wash and reuse again, but they never do. So I had this idea of like maybe starting like a recycling hair company, like and taking these old hair and just washing it and revamping it and bringing it back to life, and
Like
then
dry cleaning for
hair. Yeah. And then I was trying to figure out how this was going to work. And I said, this is just not going to work. Because when I did more research, I found out that not every hair is human hair. It's recyclable, yeah.
Right, so it's not recyclable.
So it's not going to work. So that idea got completely parked. And then 2 years later, I was sitting. I think I came.
Bought our wigs.
Yeah, we bought our wigs. Where was we going?
We went. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know. Where for some reason, we bought some wigs from Shepherd's Bush. Remember?
Yeah, from a shop in Shepherd's Bush,
Yeah.
and they were like a well-known brand. I'm not going to name the brand, but it was a well-known brand, and we bought it, and then we spent quite a lot of money on it. Actually, I think that's what the problem was. Spent a lot of money on it, and then we washed it.
It just
was
not the
like,
same.
Literally, I'll tell you the truth. We went out. Everyone goes in London Tube. London Tube is a bit sweaty. Went out, so I had a big scarf on, and literally when I came to whatever event I came in, my hair was like out here.
What? So what? The wig sweaty.
The wig like was
Static.
It was matting. I was like, nah.
Tangles.
I went back into the thing. I was brushing it
You
down.
can brush it every 5 minutes. It tangles again.
Tangles again. I was just like, what is this? I did the research and we found out that they're coated in silicone.
Right.
And what happens is that once that washes away, the hair just tangles and mats and falls apart. So then we at that point I read and I said I'm sure this was human hair. I was so frustrated. I said I'm sure this was human hair. So I read the box again. It said 100% human hair. So it said 100% human hair. Read tried to read what the composition was. Couldn't really find much about that. But then it did say 100% human hair, and a well-known brand. So then stupidly enough, we went to go and buy a similar brand again, and then the same thing happened again, and I got really annoyed, and I said, what is going on? Like, there should be like just as long as we've got like a energy rating on the side. I saw the energy rating on the side of a washing machine.
Some kind of guarantee.
Yeah, it should be. I said, why isn't there one? We've been having this 1B, 1A colour thing, cartoon colour. We don't know what standard. We don't know what we're buying.
Yeah.
So I did a research, spoke to a lot of professors, anthropologists, hair technicians, like you name it. I spoke to a lot of people on the phone. And one wig company said to me that when I told her what happened with our experiences, she said, she goes, I asked about that to that company, like, why do they put 100% human hair? And they said it's 100% for humans.
No. No, they're taking the mick. Thing is,
wow. So basically,
they're the kind of sarcastic jokes I come up with.
Yeah.
Business.
I was just like, wow. And she goes, yeah. So what she basically said to me was that these companies, because there's no hair regulation, they can stick whatever they want onto these packaging, and no one can say anything.
Yeah.
They don't want to put that as 100% human hair. They can put it's 100% human hair. Yeah.
Because it's 100% for humans.
Because 100% for us.
I've never heard that one.
That is ridiculous.
Do you know when at the time when she said it to me on the phone, I didn't laugh. I was so angry. I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" So Fair Hair Care was born that day, literally out of frustration, out of anger. And Grace came home and I told her the idea. She said, "Yeah, like why isn't there standardization? There's standardization for everything." I think the horse meat scandal came out a couple of months before that as well, which made me kind of think about it.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, no, this is wrong. A lot of black women are spending hundreds of pounds on hair, even thousands every year, and they're not giving a product. Even if the product is cheap, let us know what we are buying. If it's not going to last, it's only going to last one wash. When you let us know it's going to be the last one. That's how Fair Hair came about. However, there were so many barriers. And the barriers were like, there's we worked with the Hair Council, and the Hair Council were trying to bring about regulation to the hair industry, and they're really interested in what we were doing. So they said that we should come to meetings, but there were barriers in terms of people wanting to get involved, like other hair companies, because they didn't want to be regulated. And there was barriers like with other hair companies saying that if they want to support it, they want to do it, but if they do it, like what's the commitment, all of that stuff. So we've got all of that in place, and we're still working on it. But what we found is that we did a research with at an event, and what we found is that a lot of women would like just to pay for what they have. So if they want to have human hair that lasts 1 or 2 years, then they're happy to pay £300-400, £500, whatever it is. And if they want something that lasts a minute, they're happy to pay that as well. So
Get what you pay for.
exactly, get what you pay for. So, but what we found is that we didn't have the voice loud enough. So we have to. So a lot of brands was coming back and saying we want to be part of it, but does anybody care about it? Like, does anybody know who Fair Hair Care is? If I use the trademark on my website, is it going to make a difference? Everyone says 100% guaranteed human hair on a website. So why is your brand going to stand out? So I went back to the drawing board of Grace and started looking at fair trade. Like the people that do fair trade stamp for chocolate, called them up. I said, like, can you help me? And they're like, human hair is not measured by the gram, so we can't help you. So I was so they said it's that it's not commodity. It's not a regulated commodity. So I said, fair enough. But I said, what's your guidelines? Like, is there something that you can do to help us to kind of, build on that? And they're like, no, we can't. So what we just did is just go on our website and we just looked at how they did it. And we just started to, first of all, say to ourselves, we need to build a community and then tell the community about it.
Is that what gave rise to Shades of Beauty?
Yes.
Master plan.
Yeah.
The master plan. So Shades of Beauty, Shades of Beauty was a combination of different things, but Fair Hair Care was definitely one of the driving forces for it, because we said, like, we need to build something around this to make people, because people just wasn't listening, they don't care. And they do care, but it wasn't a big enough pull for them to listen. And so Shades of Beauty, I think Girls Trip was out last year. And then we had...
They went to Essence Fest.
We went to Essence Festival. That was I loved everything about that movie. I love the girl power and all that. Yes, let's do this. And obviously, we're both mums now.
Yeah.
And we're like, why is there anything for us to have fun? My husband goes to Arsenal like nearly every other week. So he goes out with his boys, go to football, and they go for a drink. And like, what do we got to do? Just
It's
nothing
really.
So I was just like, like, we need to bring some of this Essence vibe back to Europe, and do something for black women to have a bit of fun once in a while. So I love Carnival, but Carnival is not my thing. Like, I feel like it's more for a younger crowd, and I think, like, I want to do something that I can hold a bit of a cocktail in my hand and walk around and swan around and just do something a bit more.
Right.
Is that why you chose to do it around Carnival time?
Yes, to bring that vibe.
For people who don't want to go to
That's right.
Yeah, bring that vibe. Give people options, because some people were saying that their mums want to do something apart from go to Carnival and that weekend, and some people said that would be a great, a long, nice weekend to have something to do every day. So on Friday, Saturday, can go to Shades of Beauty, and Sunday, Monday, they've got Carnival.
They can still go Carnival.
Yeah,
because I was going to ask you the next question: why did you decide to do it the Friday and the Saturday and not the Sunday and the Monday?
Yeah, that's the reason.
That's the reason.
Oh,
yeah,
dope.
That's good. So like, it's like a pre.
It's a pre.
So they've got their 4-day Essence Festival. So we wanted to
It makes sense.
build it up to be a 4-day party festival for Londoners and people coming to London.
So where did the name Shades of Beauty come from?
Oh,
Shades of Beauty. It was a combination of.
well, I didn't tell them the story of what I was going to call it.
Well, Christina came up with. She came to me. She goes, "Oh, Grace, I've thought of the name of the show." I said, "Okay, what is it?" She goes, "Melanin Poppins," and I was like, "Right, okay."
That actually sounds like something that you would say.
And I said, "Okay, let us call your friend Tolu, who is our marketing person, the marketing guru." Called her up, and I was like, "Tolu, Christina wants to call it Melanin Poppins." And she's like, "No." It's not gonna happen. So we threw a couple of names around, and Christina came across a company called All Shades Covered, and she said she liked the word shades, and can we like implement that into what we're doing? And we came up with All Shades of Beauty, and that's how it came about.
Shades of Beauty, and I asked Tommy from All Shades Covered. I was like, we're gonna call our show Shades of Beauty. Like, are you okay with that? Do you know? Because we just really like the vibe of your name. And he was like, yeah, that's fine, that's cool. But I just really, first of all, I called it, what's it? Black Beauty Volume 1?
The Black Beauty
Volume 1.
Show.
Black Beauty Show. But I think what we wanted to do was to steer clear of calling it anything to do with hair.
And
like
black,
hair, because
Mm.
we knew we wanted the show to epitomize and focus on skin and makeup, not just hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we thought there was a massive gap. And yeah, so Shades of Beauty came about because we saw there was a gap in terms of events that focused on makeup and skincare as well. For black women, and hair that wasn't just focused on natural hair, but hair also focused on weave and extensions and the creative side of doing your hair, and it not being natural. And when I did some of the events, I couldn't really talk about fair hair care too much, because a lot of the events that were out at the moment were more focused on being natural and doing doing natural hair, and that was fine. Now that's great. That's to be celebrated. But I'm a mum of two, and having my hair out natural is a lot of work sometimes when I'm on the go.
For a couple of years, and
It's
it is
hard
work.
work.
It's hard work. So and that's the reason why we're so skilled at cane rolling, because cane rolling is one of those natural styles that you can just carry with you all the time. But as I said, even to sit down and cane roll, like it's a lot for me right now. It's dedication. Yeah. So I was just like, let's do an event that celebrates that side. So the natural side is being celebrated. Us wearing hair extensions, weaves, makeup.
Because sometimes it's usually either or. So you've got the extreme natural girls on this side, and you've got the ones who are advocates for weave, and it's like, why can't we? It's your preference. So
Yeah,
choose.
exactly.
If you want to have your hair natural, that's down to you. If you want to have your hair relaxed, or if you want to wear a weave, it's choice.
that's
you know.
And we love both. Like we love both. And I said, and I spoke. We did a bit of research, and some people said that if they go to a natural hair event, they can't wear the weave. And I'm like, silly. Like, well, you should be able to wear a weave. Like, your hair is natural underneath. You just haven't worn it that weekend natural. The next weekend you're probably gonna wear it natural. So there's a bit of that which I felt was a bit silly, and I just felt, Shades of Beauty is gonna be about just celebrating everything. Whether you want your hair to be natural, whether you want to go to an event with your hair and weave, just do you. Just be free to do you. Don't feel like people are watching you or.
But I think the name captures that as well, because there's different shades of beauty.
Right.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So when did you start planning the event?
Last year, October
last year. Yeah.
October last year.
Yeah.
So this was the first one?
Yeah, it was the first one.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was the first one. But, just as you mentioned about, doing this podcast and it being natural and it flowing, I think from day one it flowed because the right people fell in, the relationships that made this show happen kind of just fell into our laps kind of thing, and it just everything was, the whole team just felt so right, and everyone just vibes in on a level that made me believe that the sisterhood is alive, and that it's here to be celebrated.
Definitely.
It's because it's bigger than you.
Definitely, yeah, it is.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen that. Yeah, yeah.
So what was it like? Because I know that you work part-time as an events manager as well. So what was it like juggling the demands of being an event manager and still raising your young family and then still putting on such a massive event?
Yeah.
Sleepless nights. I think I've just about only got my life back about 2 weeks ago. In terms, and not just, I wouldn't say get my life back, but normalization of like times and stuff like that. I think the last 2 months from the lead up was very, very tough. Being a mum, and the guilt trip did come in a little bit when I come home and the kids are asleep, or like my husband's just like, you didn't spend time with the kids this weekend kind of thing, and it's just like, so the demands of everything was very, and it's good to have a business partner like Grace that was very understanding of what was going on and what I was going through, and that kind of sibling unconditional love. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna hit on her today because she didn't do this or she didn't do that, because I understand why this didn't happen and one thing like that. So I think having that, I think we're lucky to have that business and personal relationship.
So how did you find it? Because you also have a young family
I
as well.
also have a young family. Yeah, it was difficult because I couldn't.
And she was going through a divorce.
Divorce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so that was a struggle.
Yeah, that was a struggle.
So the emotional
turmoil
of
over
it
the last year, it has been tough. It has been tough.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been because, as I said, over the summer I usually spend a lot of time with my kids, and I do take them out. I take them out a lot.
And mine.
But this summer we had to stay at home.
Yeah.
Just literally.
and literally just just work on the show. But yeah, I mean, we knew what we were doing. We knew why I knew why I was doing it, and I just kept focused on that. And Chris, I know she understood why we were doing.
So I'm just thinking, if you started planning for this year's event last October's next month.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to start planning for Shade.
I already started.
Already started. We've started after when it finished.
Yeah.
We have.
That's like we profiled a carnival band around carnival time, and they do the same thing. So every year they're doing their thing there,
Yes.
and they go to carnival, and literally 2 weeks later
Yeah.
they're back at it again. You have to, because it takes that
Yes,
time.
exactly the same
Yes.
parallel actually, because you're
Exactly.
putting on your event around
At the same time,
carnival.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And the scale of which we were aiming for was pretty big in terms of like what normally is put out there and stuff like that. So yeah, it was that was a massive challenge as well. And I think as much as we had all these difficult things going on in the background, it was kind of like our medicine. It was our creative outlet. And when we did do it, as tired as we were, we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We loved, putting it together.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it was definitely labor of love, but definitely enjoyed it. But when I got home, I got a call from, I think about a week later, from one of my colleagues, Liz, who heads up our exhibition, and she did part of our feedback questionnaires, and she called a lot of the attendees, exhibitors, speakers to ask them questions how they found the event. To fill out, some of them didn't fill out the feedback form, so she called and Ashton Jazz Festival Academy, and they said to her, they got a lot of calls from parents. And one of the parents said that one of their daughters came home, and for the first time she didn't have any anxiety.
Wow.
And that she learned, and she was inspired by coming to Shades of Beauty Live. And
Amazing.
when I heard that, I was just like, yes. I was like, this is why we're doing Shades of Beauty
That's
Live.
the why.
Yeah, that is the why. And I just felt so, so proud of the team. And I think, we definitely want to be doing a lot more of that and inspiring women just to be free and feel, be themselves. I remember two of the talks, the vamp ladies are going to hate me for this, but Tina, two of the talks that she was inspired by was the men versus women talk about who sets the beauty standards, and that was the one with Kojo.
It's a very interesting topic.
Yes.
Yeah, with Kojo and
Pressures of perfection.
this is why I'm so terrible with names. The Pressures of Perfection. Yes.
Yeah.
The name changed like 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
So the original idea was for me to say who sets the beauty standards and so forth. But, again, the team, this is why Shades of Beauty was definitely a team effort. Even though me and Grace are sitting here, decided to jazz up the name a little bit. But it was originally a talk that was supposed to make women feel that what's really on men's minds, and that what you think men think, they don't really think at all.
Because some of the times you're putting the pressure on yourself.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Most guys don't.
Don't
actually.
care. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And
they have sisters.
exactly. And I've got 4.
Exactly.
So just like our brother. And I really wanted to do that talk, and some of the team were like, oh no, Christina, it's supposed to be a women's event, we're supposed to be talking about women and da-da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, but I know that if I was a 14 or 15-year-old girl and I went to an all-girls school, if I went to a talk that had men on the panel and the men saying, I don't care about stretch marks, I don't care about this, that will fill you with a little bit more confidence than just another woman saying it. And as much as we don't want to admit it to ourselves, and another woman saying that you're great is great, but another man saying that you're great it means a little bit more something, especially is if that you find that other opposite attraction to the opposite sex. And that's just me. I'm if anyone knows me, they know me that I just like honest, genuine conversation.
Yeah.
And I like to hear things or talk about things that would interest me. And that's the reason why I really pushed for that topic to be discussed, because I felt It's important.
And also, it's reflective of real life.
Yeah.
It's not just a planet of women or a planet of men.
Exactly.
So, and we all affect each other's feelings. So
exactly.
it
And I
definitely
wanted the flip side as well, because I feel like men have pressure to look or be a
majorly.
certain way, and you know, with I don't know if you guys have seen on YouTube, but they've got men hair extensions.
There was the first male cover girl as well, and things like that.
There you go.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you was, who is your ideal target audience? Because I know that it was mainly female, but did you intentionally make it to include men as well? Because obviously men have beauty needs.
Yeah.
And I think there was a guy who brought out a male grooming, the black guy who brought out the male grooming products. I can't remember his name.
Smokey the Barber.
Yeah. So I was thinking, did you include those individuals in Shades of Beauty, or was it only focused on women?
It was a bit of an accident, really. Someone said to me, when the train leaves the station, you just don't know who gets on it sometimes.
Good, that's a good
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
And I think Shades of Beauty is one of those things, like, as we, you know, from when we started, it just had loads of people jump on, and any relationship that felt right, I was just saying yes to it. And then I'll call Grace, and Grace will be like, yeah, okay.
Because
I've got dragged on.
sometimes you can plan things as much as you want, but then things happen, and it's like, I didn't consider that. But that works.
Better,
And it ends up being better.
I think it was a bit of a two-way. Everything was, you know, as we say, everything's timing, isn't it?
Right.
So when Smokey came on board, it was a time where I just felt this event might not even be happening, like, you know, because the amount of no's we were getting was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then I realised, after speaking to Grace, was that there isn't a space for black men to go to experience male grooming. And if there was, would they turn up? That's another thing. So I think...
I would.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, but I think the man,
Sorry.
the man of 2018 is a lot different to the man of
I strongly
yesteryear.
believe that. I strongly
Because
believe
they're more into their looks, and I think
are.
it's
They
probably
are.
because of social media. So where everyone wants to look good, it's why
Yeah.
they've got beard weaves and
That's
they've got
right.
all these different things now.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so I'm completely wrong, but I think co-locating it with a female event would help that push that agenda along. And Smokey felt the same way. He said that, I definitely think co-locating it will give men another reason to come along, because a lot of the female products, you know, I think we forget a lot of the female products men use as well. So in their hair, like, you know, to groom their hair.
and
So-
also
Yeah,
it
not
might
fussy.
be the wife.
If it says
It's also
shampoo on
the-
it,
Yeah, it'll be the wife or girlfriend who's actually buying the product.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a generalization.
no,
But, you know, sometimes it's
because
true.
the customer and the consumer are two
Yeah,
different
different
things.
things, yeah.
That's
But
a very good
I
point.
think it's definitely a growing market, and I think that Smoke is just the start of it, and him being the first one to do the show. You know, we definitely got more inquiries coming along for next year. But yeah,
Awesome.
It's also because maybe men never felt welcomed at these events in the past, because you know, the branding, everything is targeted at women,
females, yeah.
and if everything looks so feminine, and then all your promotional campagns just featuring women, there's no men in it, so they feel a bit.
we are
left
forgetting
out.
men. We are forgetting. We did have a man. We did have Damilola, who featured in the videos, but obviously he's, in terms of, like, you know, in terms of male beauty, he's more into the makeup side, not to the typical male grooming of the beards and stuff like that. So
Right.
but definitely we're trying to capture an audience where everyone feels included. So we definitely are probably going to do a bit more of a male targeted campaign, and I think that part of that campaign came towards the end when we did the male versus female discussion at the end, and we did some advertising around
Right.
yeah, being there.
Yeah, it's definitely, as we were going along, we did find that, because we had someone else asked us, are you going to do some things for men as well at the show?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay.
We'll think about it,
Let's think about
I think it's a
it.
very good idea. I
Yeah.
think that, you know,
It might be the differentiator as well.
yeah, definitely.
Because
it's a good
that's
idea.
something I was going to ask. That what separates your brand from other brands like, say, Afro Hair and Beauty? What is the difference?
I definitely, going back to the makeup side,
Yeah.
I think there's a massive push on us highlighting makeup. I also think that it's an event that's been done not just to cater for because I hate using the comparison with Afro Hair and Beauty Live. I think it's a completely different show. That show started as a, someone can correct me, but it started as a trade show. So it was done on a Sunday and Monday when the salons weren't open, so that they can come and do a bulk buy of trade discounted hair and beauty products. And then it probably moved into a B2C format. So as an average customer, if you can also come to the show and get those discounts as well. But it was really discounts for the salons so that they can go back to their salons with bulk orders and stuff like that. So it really started off as a trade show, and then on top of that, I think they had the fashion show as well, and like the apparel, and it's grown. It's a fantastic show. It's been one of the pillar of the community for like more than 30 years. But with Shades of Beauty, we never had the trade in mind.
Did you think yours is an experience rather than just a show?
Yeah. I think, and it's not a buyer seller environment. It's more of as you said, just an experience the talks, experience the products that are out there for us, meet new independent brands as well as the brands that they know. But it never was intentional, because as I said, I think Afro started as a B2B platform. We started as a B2C. We always had the average consumer that walks into any retailer in mind. And we got a lot of backlash, I guess, from a lot of the salons when we did the show, because everyone's like, why are you doing it on Friday and Saturday? That's the most busiest day.
Yeah, that's true.
For us, because we've got our salons open, and
it's the right before Carnival.
Right before Carnival, everyone's getting their hair done. And we had to kind of just take that on the chin, because we didn't build the event for traders.
Right.
The event was built for your customers, consumers, and everybody like that, and everyone just wants to have a good time. So, I think that's the first main difference. And the other thing which we started out from this get-go, we've had loads and loads and loads of requests, but which we'll never ever do, and I've always said this to Grace, we'll never ever do, is apparel and fashion and clothes. We've had so many people messaging us saying, can we bring our t-shirts, can we bring our clothes, can we bring videos? We said no. There was no apparel at the show. Someone said to us, why don't you do a catwalk? We said no. It said it's strictly going to be hair and beauty, and that's it. And so there will always be a space for Afro Hair and Beauty, because they will always have their catwalk and their apparel and other shows as well that is in a similar space. But we decided from the get-go that this is just going to be a hair and beauty event, and I was quite sure of myself. Even if I didn't have all the vendors there, I wasn't going to do that, and that's what we did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
awesome. How did you go about selecting the panels and the speakers for the event? Because we had Yinka Bikini, the Slumflower, Anika Allen, Maria Musa, Shantea Beckford, and many more. Yeah. How did you go about that?
Topics, I guess, was. I think. Do you know what? Actually,
because some of them are not in the hair and beauty space. So even like Dahlia Diaz, she's a music videographer.
Yeah. Well, the Men and Versus Beauty was my idea. The conference was my baby, basically. I knew I wanted to have like a selection of talks, wasn't it?
It all starts from Chris, because there was some topics on there that our PR team weren't happy with, and I'm like, look, this is Chris's baby. So if you want to, fight about that, you got to go to Chris and have that discussion with her. But I think it really did start with just a few. We had an idea of what we wanted, and then it just kind of kept on building up, and we kept on referring back to
Vamp ladies,
and
I think it started from the video, really. Yeah. Because we did the promo video.
Yeah, with the balloons.
The balloons. Yes, the famous balloons. And then Vamp ladies chose who was going to be in the video. Yeah. And me and Grace, let's face it, like, we don't know nothing about social media. So I didn't know who Shantania was. I didn't know who Jay from Culture was. Did you?
No.
Yeah.
I knew Shantania. Shantania, I had an idea of who
Shantania. Yeah, but I really didn't know a lot of the influencers that came on board, and so we did really take steering in direction from Vamp. who are awesome ladies.
They are.
And we did our research as well. We checked out who they were sending us, and it was us. Like, these ladies look really cool. And then after the video, they were like emailing me people that they think that should speak at the show. And the funny thing, we had a rough kind of idea what topics we were going to do. So we definitely wanted the culture ladies on board. Shantanya, we just loved her energy on the set of the video.
Okay.
The promo video, and her professionalism. And we just felt like she would definitely slot in somewhere. Slumflower, this was even before the hashtag
book,
before the hashtag Saggy Boobs came out. And at the time, I think it was just something that was of interest to the ladies. I think there's one thing about the Vamp, they've got a bit of foresight. They definitely have
like a crystal ball somewhere.
They got seriously got a crystal ball somewhere. Seriously, because there was a few people that they said they approached me about very early.
Yeah,
and these people had no reach anywhere. Yeah. And when I'm talking about reach, me and Grace always look at Grace is quite number crunching. So it's like, we have to think about. We're launching the first show, so definitely there has to, if they're an influencer, they have to have a big reach so that they can help us to really speak to this audience that we're trying to reach to. So there was a couple of people that brought to us and were just like, how are they going to fit into this show? And Tina was like, Christina, they're going to be big. Okay, so Dahlia Diaz, how did you know about her?
Because I follow your page and I see anyone who's on there. But it was actually through your page that I found her. So I know that she's done like videos for Chris Brown and she did the Tiger video recently and things like that. Yeah. So I was interested and I was like, oh, need to get her on our show.
Yeah. She has done some crazy. But I thought she was interesting because obviously she's not a social influencer that's known for beauty or hair. That's why I was interested to find out, why did you go for her, or didn't you, or did Vamp go for her? Vamp didn't go for her and we didn't go for her. I actually have a very close friend called Michelle Shanti. She basically went to secondary school together, but she's got her own platform. She's part of the production CNTV. She helped produce and marketed Brothers with No Game.
Okay.
And she works for Channel 4 as a marketing manager. And I messaged her saying that in October this time last year, and said, I'm doing Shades of Beauty, that, would you like to get involved? Or can we be a media partner or something along those lines? And she didn't message me back, and then it fell into her spam. And in around January time, she messaged me and she said, this looks like it could be great, and I want to do my own panel at the show. So, cool. I was like, yeah, go girl. I said, do your own panel, let's do it. And I gave her free reign to come and do her own panel, and she was just sending me the names, and each name that she sent me, I again did my research and I looked them up, and when I saw what Dahlia, I was like, this needs to, and she kept on calling, she needs to come on, she needs to come to this, and everybody that she was sending me was just so hot. Like she got Adiremi, and I was just so excited because I was just like, this is how long I've been out of the scene, or I just have not been listening. And I think these are people that need to be highlighted, put on a pedestal, people need to know about. So that's why shows like yours, platforms like Shades of Beauty is so important, because these ladies are just rocking it. Like working on Chris Brown's video, like who would have known that someone from the UK is killing it like that? And I think that is such inspiration in itself. And then you got Adiremi from Storm Artist, and she's just killing it in her game. One of her clients is Lorraine Pascal, and meeting these women and just taking them out and just showing them to the floor, because I think that will stay hidden. Because
that's one of the things that Ruby said. So when we had the conversation with Ruby, she was talking about the blatant divide between, so in the beauty industry, she was basically saying that Caucasians are given more opportunities than Black social influencers who may have the same size of audience, they have the same reach, but they're just not given the opportunity, so they never get to work with like the major brands and things like that. So I was going to ask you, was that really important for you with your show, to really give them an opportunity, or to even appear on their blogs and to bring them down to the event? Because obviously the video that you put out had a lot of Black social influencers in there, so I was wondering if that was intentional.
Yeah, definitely. Everything about Shades of Beauty was just shine a torchlight on black women doing great things. It was, we wanted it to be a celebration, and part of that celebration was, let's talk about things that we want to talk about but haven't spoken about outwardly. And I think one of my pushbacks, every single time someone would say they don't want to talk, we shouldn't do this topic, that's too controversial, is like, I kept just slamming the table. I said, this is our platform. We're not being paid by anybody else to do this. This is our money. This is our platform. Let's talk about
for us to have a voice.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to talk about. I also wanted to talk about more controversial stuff. I was told to shut up, but I wanted to talk about body surgery and all of that stuff. But we'll save that to next year.
Yeah,
You've
but
got to say something.
next year,
you got to keep something back.
Get all the topics out.
But we did one that there was another one that got pushed back on was Flawless in Faith.
Beauty
And it ended
and
up-
religion.
Beauty and religion, yeah, and it ended up being a lot of people's favourite.
So what was the actual? Because we're talking about like the different panels and all that kind of stuff. What was the vibe like in the event? Yeah, what was it like?
Yeah, it was buzzing. It was electric. People were just like saying it's just amazing. It was.
I think everyone's looking up in awe as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
everyone
came
was-
in, they're like,
Was the decor looked
Yeah.
amazing.
yeah,
they were
everyone's just
like-
like this. Everyone's.
Yes.
I like the flower. I saw like the flower wall and the
Yeah.
chairs. And all
I think
that.
it was
really nice.
visually stunning to a lot of people, because I don't think anybody expected an event of coming from. It's really bad to say.
Stereotypical.
Event of black origin.
Yeah.
Yes.
To look like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's another question I was going to ask. Was that based on your experience as an events planner?
Yeah, definitely.
So is
There
that
you
where
go.
you drew that from? So obviously you're doing all these high caliber events, so you couldn't put on an event that was going to be mediocre.
No, not at all.
Definitely. And I think what we learned as well is that anything you do, you need to, because I know a lot of people go to big events in Olympia and Olympia Beauty and Excel, and they're like, why are black events not like that, and da 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 da. And I think it just goes back to, you always need to remember what you would like to go to,
Yes.
or what you would like to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't know what happens in with some of our events, but sometimes we don't do that. We don't do an event where we would like to go to. And I think we're getting a lot better at it. There's lots of good events going on. I remember my friend said that Lux Like Freak did a polo event or something like that. And so I think we're definitely getting better. But I always said, if I'm going to do an event, and probably me being an event manager, I want to do an event that I would like to go to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has to be that way.
Yes.
And with you guys doing that for the first time now, that's now raised the bar. So if anybody else wants to try an event, that's the bar. But then, and you hope that people do, because then that sets the bar, that sets the expectancy,
Yeah.
and then that raises the levels.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes you have to lead by example.
Everything's about an experience now.
That kind of leads me into the next question. You just said that now more people are approaching you, because I know that initially when you were trying to reach out to some brands, they were saying no. Do you think that was because it was your first show, or was that
yes.
because they never targeted black consumers before?
Well, I had to do, because we kind of split our roles, so, and that's probably why the reason why I'm getting so much more airtime, because I had to do more of the face-to-face stuff,
Yeah.
and Grace was more in the office, just making sure all the numbers, everything was just tallying up. And so I went out with one of our colleagues, Liz, to do the meetings, and Liz is, we've got a company called Self-Fluent, which is a telemarketing company, and Liz transferred from working on projects where we worked on oil and gas stuff to working on Shades of Beauty Live, because she really liked the thought of the project.
Oh, cool.
And the reason why I explain that, because Liz is actually a Caucasian white girl with blonde hair.
Oh, okay.
And when I took her on to the meetings, we both initially thought that she would probably be the only white girl in the boardroom, but ended up being that I was the only black girl in the boardroom. And that happened at a lot of different meetings.
Yeah.
So this was just like,
Well, is this for black hair products?
Yeah.
Or was
Yes.
this for European products?
black hair products, black brands.
There you go. That
Interesting.
says it all.
So that's what I was looking at her as like interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. However, what it is disappointing, because at the end of the day, these products are being sold to us, but there's the people behind it. There's not really much representation of us behind it,
and that's true in all industries.
Exactly, and it's just so sad. It's for industries where we actually spend a lot of money on the product.
Yeah,
so
a lot
of money on the product. But on the flip side, I don't know whether it's. It might be a cultural thing from our side. Because I was thinking about the other day, and I was thinking, you know, as African parents, I'm not encouraged to go and do hair and beauty.
No.
If I went to go and apply for a job at a hair and beauty products, they'll be like, "What are you doing? Go and get a proper
traditional
job. Traditional job." That's why Grace went into engineering,
doctors, lawyers.
I studied I studied biotechnology. I said do forensics. I did forensics for a year, and then I decided I wanted to do events, so I just pushed back, but. I had to be at an event company that did oil and gas and defence events. So
So the compromise.
It had to be like...
I'm still in it.
Still in it, so that was a compromise. It had to be oil and gas and defence. So that might be a reason too.
That is going to be a reason as well. Yeah.
That might be a reason that there's not a lot of us there. So anyway, when we went to those meetings, it was kind of like, oh, we've seen a lot of you guys before. So,
what, from your side or their side?
From
their side, they said they've seen a lot of black people come to them asking for business before. So there's lots of they've experienced a lot of black business people come into their offices asking for money, donation, business ventures, partnerships, etc. before, and one of the owners described it because I've seen a lot of Mickey Mouse before. It was how do I know that this is what you're going to be set out to do? How do I know this is serious? And a part of me was kind of disappointed, but a part of me understood because from a business point because from some of the events that I've been to, I can kind of understand why that might be the case.
Yeah,
because we've all kind of experienced events that may not be what it's set out to be. So I took it on the chin. I was just like, yeah, okay, but then. That made it even more important for us to do the promo video because the promo video was a taster of the high level
the quality.
So I wanted to ask the question from a slightly different angle, because especially when you have black women that wear weaves, most of the products are European. The hair is European, so you have to wear European. You have to use European products on it. Yeah. Did you have any European brands at the show? Or were they open to having that conversation? Because I think
we did have
some of them don't really understand how many black people use white products as well.
I'm going to out one product. I want to out them. Yeah. I don't care if this has been recorded. The anger.
Yeah.
Okay, so we approached a product that a lot of black women use. They basically said they need to be educated on how to straighten Afro hair. Their knowledge bank is very weak on that front. So we said we'll be happy to do so. And we'll be happy to do so, but we'd love for you to exhibit at our event, to get involved. And I said, it's very weak. And they just literally passed us along. Then myself, Liz and Grace went out to Dubai to a Beauty in Dubai event. Saw one of the directors there and said, look, are you guys actually serious about us? Are you helping our knowledge bank, or are you serious about getting involved in Change the Beauty Live and come to the event? Because you're talking about this knowledge bank, but Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, they all use your products. They all straighten their head up literally every day. And they were like, okay. And when we approached them, he was like, I got to be honest with you. We don't really use black people we don't really get involved in black experience activations, like events.
Black
South
experience activations.
Yes, he kind of used that kind of term, but he goes, we don't really, what we do is we do use ethnic minority models in photo shoots, but we don't get involved in live. We don't partake in live experiences.
We don't have any plans to.
We don't have any plans to get involved in live experiences targeted at the black demographic, which means we will never do an event, an experiential event to target black women. Yeah. Well, we'll just dot an Asian person or ethnic minority person on one of our flyers, and that should be enough.
Tick boxes.
Tick boxes, yeah, basically, yeah.
Why
and that's
would you
the thing.
alienate one of you?
Yeah.
That's
One
one
of
of
the
the
largest-
biggest customers.
And I was just so shocked that, okay, you know, we can use it to straighten our afro. We can also use it to straighten our weaves. So I was kind of really taken aback and quite annoyed, actually. I you
So
know,
that means
I
they
accepted
don't
his
understand
honesty.
their customer base, or
Definitely.
they just have no interest.
I think
in
they
it. They'll
understand-
take your money, but they're just not going to promote it.
I think that what we've learned, because there's been other bigger brands, is that they want to steal your ideas. So they're happy for us to come to the office and tell them
Let me pick
everything
your
that we
brain.
know. Let me pick our brains for free. But they don't want to. They don't want to align their brand with our face because it might devalue their brand.
No, when a brand's blatantly telling you that
Yes.
we're making the products, yeah, you can use it, but we don't even really want you to be doing it.
When that was said, I was like, oh, it's funny because even Liz was with us. She goes, "No, I'm gonna go and talk to them."
Yeah, Liz
How
was even
dare
fighting.
they? She was like, you know,
One Liz.
Yeah,
She was
just
fighting.
She was like,
no,
she couldn't believe
no,
it.
I'm not gonna
Like, you know,
accept that. Yeah.
and I think it was a wake up call for her to to really understand, you know, as her position as a Caucasian lady, you know, what we're up against.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not just in our imagination. Because sometimes I feel, you know, it's not until you walk into someone else's shoes and you can see
Honestly.
what's going on. And I think
Yeah.
for her, that's part of the experience that she's gone through, like working with us. So yeah, and her going through that experience, it just reaffirms what I've always known. And I you know, I spoke about it in articles as well. You know, in terms of working in the corporate world and being sidelined and being, you know, I had one of my good Russian friends, and she said to me that her daughter is half Ugandan, and she went shopping one day, and she said she walked into a shop and that the lady was serving her and said, "Oh, madam, you know, welcome to this shop." I can't remember, it was somewhere in Greenwich, and she's like, "Yeah, welcome. Like, do you need any help? Da, 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 da. Like, let me know if you need any help." And very kind of posh shop. And then she just smiled, and then later on she was near the changing room, and she just spoke, and she just said, "Oh, can I go get it?" And obviously she's got a Russian accent. She said the attitude of them just changed. Didn't want to serve her no more, didn't want to attend to her no more, and, you know, kind of like was looking at her as if she's going to steal something from the shop. And she said the way the attitude changed so much after I spoke to them. She goes, "I just took my daughter and her mum was with her at the time and walked out."
Yeah.
And then I said to her, "You know what you just experienced?" I said, "I experience every day." And I said, "I don't even get to open my mouth."
Right.
That's a good point.
I said, "I don't even get to open my mouth." It's right off the cuff. I said, "You were judged from the time you opened your mouth, but up until that point, they didn't judge you." And I said, I get judged from the just by stepping into the shop,
Proximity.
just by looking black."
Yep.
And then she just like, because her daughter is mixed race, she just said, "That's just disgusting." Like, you know, and, you know, the more, you know, these people understand, and, you know, people like my friend understand that, and it just goes to show that when she was telling me, I had utmost sympathy, but then it made me reaffirm, oh my God, so like, you just speaking and acting like, like, I'm just walking I could just be walking on the street and someone's just looking at me, judging me, and you know, it happens to us all the time. So I think we just have to remain strong, and we just have to just carry on and continue to build these platforms and shout about these platforms and hope that the community out there support it, support things that are good. You know,
So what does the future hold for Shades of Beauty?
it's going to be bigger and better. I definitely want to make the conference and panel discussions a bigger part of the show as well, and then we're also going to do like more, you know, loads of brands
Experiences.
loads of brands have got in touch with us, loads.
Good.
and brands that said no. It's always good.
Be so good they can't ignore you.
Yes, exactly.
So we're gonna make it bigger and better, but we're always gonna stay authentic, and that's really important. And again, we're gonna stick to hair and beauty, and you know, I think there's always people talking about competition, but we think there's more than enough space in
Absolutely.
this space for another hair and beauty show.
Yeah.
As I said, we don't do apparels. Anytime people say, "Oh, we've got apparel," I was like, "Oh, there's other shows I can recommend that you can go to that do apparel."
Yeah.
You know, and you know, they're happening around the same time as us. So, there's always more than enough space.
Good. good. And continue to raise the bar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's going to help a lot.
So the final question, if you can go back to October 2017 when you started planning the event, what advice would you give to yourself knowing what you know now?
What would I do?
One from each. Let's break it up.
Oh gosh. I think to be more aware of our spending.
I know she's gonna say that.
That's why I wanted to answer from each, because I was thinking your personalities will come out here.
Yeah, to be more aware of our spending, because there have been a couple of times where we spent money where we shouldn't have spent money.
Yeah.
And it was painful. And it was
Lessons
a learning
learned.
curve.
Yeah.
Lessons learned, exactly. But yeah, it was definitely a growth period for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely that's where I would
Spend smarter.
Spend smarter, definitely.
Yeah. And you, Christina?
I was gonna say be less ambitious, but that wouldn't have made sense because I was very ambitious about this project and what it could achieve. But I will continue to do that. I think for me, it has to be just follow your gut. Follow your gut.
Good advice. Good advice.
Amazing.
It's been really great having you guys on.
Oh,
it's been a good,
thank you.
well-rounded
Good
conversation.
It's been quite powerful.
thank you.
So.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Thank
been really
you.
good. And we wish you guys all the best. And anything we can do to help,
Yeah.
please let us know.
Next year, press team.
Panel discussion.
Come and speak at Shades of Beauty.
Gladly.
Say, you know, I actually don't get.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And we wish you guys all the best with the
Yes.
podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking
Where
a chance on us.
can people find you online?
Just visit www.shadesofbeautylive. We're still struggling with the socials. The personal socials is not a big thing for us, but for neither of us, we're both crap at socials, aren't
I know.
But
But we are
Shades
on
of Beauty
Instagram.
is just
we? Shades of Beauty Live, Shades of Beauty on Instagram, on Twitter. You can follow us there.
Perfect.
Perfect.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, it's been another great conversation. Very well-rounded and full, which was beautiful.
Insightful.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for tuning in once again. Give us a good review after listening to us on this one. You can follow us on Instagram at For The Creators Podcast, on Twitter at _the creators, and you can email us on at. No, it's not even an at. For the creator. What is email?
The email, guys, since the cat clearly got his tongue, is forthecreatorshow@gmail.com.
That's the one. Maybe they should be at Gmail. How about that? Yeah. So, yeah, thanks again,
at
guys.
Gmail already.
No, but I mean, it should be like an at username instead of G. Anyway, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Take care.